Hey, welcome to another episode of MLM Renegade. It's been a couple of weeks, guys. Life happens sometimes. But today we're going to talk about owning it.
So here's the million-dollar question. How are network marketers like us, who've tried everything their upline ever suggested to be successful, and yet still struggled, who grew up with technology and aren't stuck in the 20th century, how are we supposed to grow our downlines in our bank accounts and yet still have time for real life? My name is J.R. McKee. Join me as we explore how to use 21st century learning and technology to grow our downlines and build lasting wealth. Simply put, this is MLM done different. Welcome to MLM Renegade.
So I've been thinking about this for a couple of weeks now, and the timing has just been wrong for me to actually get some quiet time where I could actually record this episode. And so, but I've thought a lot about it because, a few weeks ago, I had the opportunity to go with my son on a baseball trip. We drove about 4.5 hours away for a tournament that was ultimately ill-fated because of weather. But he and I had some really quality time together. And while we were driving, we listened to an audiobook. And now this wasn't just a kid's audiobook. He's 11, right? He's a pretty smart kid. But we actually listened to Extreme Ownership by Jocko Willink and Leif Babin. If you haven't read the book, read it. But it talks about owning your crap, all of it, and taking responsibility for yourself. And for the things that you have responsibility for. Now, it seems like at this point in time, the world loves to tell you why somebody else is at fault for everything bad happening in your life and in the lives of those around you. When in reality, that is exactly the opposite of truth. One of the things that Jocko and Leif teach in this book is this credo that they own. If they are in charge, they're in charge of everything. Even when somebody fails below them, it is their fault. Crap doesn't roll downhill, it starts at the top. And that truly is the way that if we want to better our lives, if we want to better those lives around us, we have to own our crap. As a dad, sometimes I do stupid stuff. As a business owner, oftentimes I do stupid stuff. As an employee, guess what? I do stupid stuff. But guess what? I can own that. And I can take back my power. I can take back my motivation and my integrity by owning the fact when I do something wrong. I've had opportunity to work with some incredible sales managers. And some of my favorite managers were the ones that were willing to go to bat for me. They were willing to make my problem their problem. And I bet if you look in your life, the people who have fought for you, who have made your problems their problem, are the people who you love the most, who are closest to you, who have the most to gain from your success. And we are all in this together. We're not getting out of this life with anything more than what we learn and that's the only thing that we can take with us. There's a joke out there about he who dies with the most toys still dies. And that's the truth. That's the only thing that we can take with us is those relationships and how we affected other people's lives. And so as we look at our life and our business and our personal engagement with the world around us, if we're willing to own our crap, if we're willing to own everything that happens to us, we will be so much better off. My least favorite words to hear in my kids or in anybody else or the kids that I coach in baseball is, "It's not my fault." I hate that. I hate it. Or, "It's not fair." It drives me insane to hear those words. It's not fair. Yeah, guess what, guys? Life isn't fair. And the sooner that you can own that fact and you can actually mold life to be better for you. When you can take into account that, hey, you know what? I'm not very good at this particular thing, and then work on it and own that, guess what? you will be stronger at it. You will get better at it. I've been reading a lot about habits lately, and a lot around, how we engage. And there's one book, Atomic Habits, great read, but he talks about getting 1% better every single day. 1%, just 1%. And if we did that over the course of a year, we would end up 37 times better off than where we started. Now, is 1% a day compounding, is that realistic? Maybe. I don't think it's realistic for me, if I'm being honest with myself. But even if I failed hard and only hit half of that and ended up 18.5% better off, 18.5 times better off, wouldn't that be worth it? There are, in my life, there's a lot of things going on in the world around us. People want to blame others for taking away their personal liberties, or they want to claim back their personal liberties around this pandemic, around the virus, around a vaccination, around wearing a mask. We have recently ended our mask mandate around my home, but there are still places that you have to wear one. Costco is probably the one that's my most annoyance, because I enjoy going to Costco, wearing glasses. I don't enjoy wearing a mask because it fogs my glasses. Now, will I wear a mask? Yes. I can own that. Okay? I can own my frustration with that it's probably not my better side. And acting like a child and throwing a tantrum because I have to wear a mask doesn't serve anybody. In fact, it just makes me look like an idiot and tick off those people around us, namely my wife, right? And when I act like a child, that's who will get annoyed the most. It's not the people that are around me. They'll think, "Oh gosh, that jerk," and 30 seconds later have forgotten my entire existence. But it will annoy my wife for hours or days, which in turn makes my life less enjoyable, because I like to have a happy wife. Happy wife, happy life, right? That's the mantra that I live by. But I can own that. I can own acting like an adult. I can own being around other people and taking care of them and being able to do what I need to do in order to help other people be safe. I can own that. In my job, I can own what I need to do to make those around me better. I can own what I need to do to reach my goals. Now, I will tell you right off, 4 months in, this is the end of April, 4 months into 2021, and I am behind on some of my goals. Like, for example, I wanted to ride 3,000 miles on my bicycle, which is about 56 miles a week. I've ridden a couple of 100 miles is all. So I've got a lot of weight making up to do if I'm going to make that goal. But I can own that. I've been busy. Other things have been a greater priority. Okay, it's not that I didn't have time. I didn't make time. I didn't take the opportunity to do that when I had the time. At that point in time, maybe I found it more valuable for me to sit down on the couch and watch Falcon and the Winter Soldier with my kids, or to spend time with my wife just talking, or going for a walk out when it's beautiful outside and enjoying their company. I made those choices. I own those choices. Much of the world's problems can be fixed and be solved by owning our choices and our decisions. I saw a meme. There's lots of social unrest happening. Tragedies, people being killed in custody, being killed by police officers. These are tragic things, both for the person who is no longer with us and the person who caused that to happen. Some of these people need to own their part in that on both sides. Okay, there's the memes that are out there are the memes that are in society right now are terrible, honestly. Sometimes I chuckle, I will freely admit. There are some that I find funny, and there are others that are just plain sad, because they never truly transmit the feelings or all of the circumstances that are wrapped up in that situation that has become a meme. And if the people involved would simply own their crap, if the people involved would actually take responsibility for their actions and their inactions, the world would be a far better place. And I was having a conversation with somebody at work the other day, and I said, cable news wants us to believe that everyone is our enemy and that the country is so divided. But I've found that if I turned cable news off and I go for a walk and I talk to my neighbors, they are far more unified. And these are people that I don't agree with, that I know are on the other side of a political divide from me. But I can still be a human. I can still be a good neighbor. I can still disagree with them without being disagreeable. And I think that is where we've gone so far off the tracks. That is where we have an opportunity as human beings to be better at being human beings. We need to own our crap. We need to own our responsibility. We need to take responsibility for everything around us, because when we do, we take back our power and we are truly in control of our lives. When we're willing to take responsibility for all the lousy stuff that happens, only then can we actually take responsibility for the good stuff that happens. You have to take the good with the bad. You can't pick and choose. You can't say, oh, well, I'm going to take this one really good thing that's happened, but I really don't want all the rest of that crap, please. I was listening to a religious leader speak, and he talked about, when Jesus comes again, he wants to be able to stand before him and say, yes, I followed you, and I did all of these wonderful things because I followed you. And yet, I didn't want to have to go through the pain and the suffering of being a follower. And sometimes that's what we want. We want all the benefit without any of the struggle. Going on 3,000 miles worth of bike rides is going to make me stronger. It's going to make the last 1,000 miles way easier than the first 1,000 miles. But guess what? I have to suffer through the first 2,000 in order for that benefit and that payoff to come out. If I want to lose 15 pounds, which I do, if I want to lose 15 pounds, I got to get my butt to the gym. I got to go out, I got to ride my bicycle, I got to run, I got to do something. I need to do a crunch or a sit-up or a push-up, for crying out loud. When I do those things, I'm paying the price. The price cannot be cheated. It doesn't work that way. Real life is not the government. We cannot cheat our way to the top. It cannot be done. There is a price that has to be paid for all success. And if you are unwilling to pay for it, don't whine about those who are. If you're unwilling to make a sacrifice to reach a greater goal, don't whine about people having it easier than those around them. I am not here to say that there is not privilege in the world. There absolutely is. But just because that privilege exists does not negate the hard work or the sacrifice that those people who are subjects of privilege are going to have to put forward. Okay? I'm a white man. By definition, I am overly privileged if you look at the world around me. That doesn't mean I'm not going to have to work hard to get what I want or to take care of my family and to take care of those around me. Hard work is an imperative part of this human existence. And when we learn to work hard and we learn to own our crap, when we learn to do the things that are hard, that suck in the minute, and embrace the suck, and move forward and press forward, only then can you tell the really great stories. Great stories aren't made from really easy going. They are made from struggle and strife. One of my favorite stories to tell is when I was a teenage kid, we went on a 50-mile backpacking hike with the Scouts. I think I was 15 at the time. And what's funny about this is we didn't get to 50 miles. We got to about 40 miles because about 2.5 days into the hike, the heavens opened and drowned us. We were at this beautiful lake in the Cascade Mountains of Washington. And we had set up camp and we went for a day hike up this waterfall. It was awesome. And as we were coming home, the skies opened and they did not close for 40 hours. 40 hours. I'm not even exaggerating. We stayed in our tents, hunkered down for a day and a half. And it was miserable. We came when the weather finally broke, we came out and we wrung out sleeping bags like they were towels. Here's the great thing about that story. I can remember it vividly. I remember how it felt. I remember being scared when lightning was crashing over our heads in these, and I've got a nylon tent over my head is all. But I remember those things from 25 years ago because of how it felt. I remember those emotions. I remember being scared. I remember how hard it was to march 12 miles out to where we could actually meet some people to take us home in 4 hours. Like we were practically running out of there as fast as we could to beat any other weather that was going to swallow us up. But that hard thing became an awesome story. Awesome stories don't happen from easy going. Awesome stories happen when things just are terrible. Nobody said, oh, that was easy. Yeah, it was so much fun. No, people say that was fun, but guess what? Fun usually means hard. We won a baseball game the other night. It was a hard-fought game. Kids did fantastic. And yet, it was hard. It was stressful. Like they were, my son was pitching on the mound and they had runners on base and we were trying to get out of an inning and we were able to pull it off. And guess what? The confidence that grew in them from making that happen, from owning their situation, taking control of it, and bending it to their will is something that they will remember and take with them. When these 11-year-old boys are 41-year-old men working in corporate America, they will remember the lessons that were taught to them because they owned the situation, they took advantage of it, and they made it theirs. Own your crap, you guys. I own the fact that it's been like 3+ weeks since I've been out here. I'm going to do better. I got to do better. I enjoy this medium way too much, and I enjoy the messages that I get from people who are sharing with me and telling me how much they enjoy it. Like, it's really cool. I really get a ton out of it. And I really appreciate those who have reached out and told me that. Yes, even you, Mom. And I look forward to sharing some more of these thoughts with you guys in the very near future. Until then, make it a great day. Nobody's going to give it to you. Make it that way. Have a great one. Hey, thanks for listening, and please remember to subscribe. And if you loved us, leave us an awesome review on iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever you consume your podcasts. Now, if you'd like some free training for your team on how your recruiting efforts can be bettered and brought into the 21st century, go to podcast.mlmrenegade.com and get your copy of the Renegade Recruiting Kickstarter.